You know, I mean, and it's also down to like 560s are MOBA. For the most part, they're MOBA type GPUs. Um, so, you know, it's a question of, do I want to build another rig at the moment? No, I can't. I don't. That's not my. Oh, hello, goddess.
Yeah, I know she's typing. I told her to go to live
No,
stream.
I was talking about like you know, afterthought in the future. If somebody gave you some hand-me-down parts to flip and build just a shitty little system with
See,
like
even if I
lower-end
did,
video card in it, you know,
even if
and then it'd be dedicated just to doing the stream, and then
even if I did right now have an encoding system, which, you know, I don't know if I would use the little Lenovo that I have here that I've run OBS on before to use as an encoding. That's probably as close as I would get, because I cannot push our power bill. That's the thing. I can't, you know, I got to be very careful of how much power consumption we have. That's why I went with low TDP on the CPU, and I went with a low TDP GPU. Now, that's another thing. As far as wattage goes, how much of a difference of wattage am I looking at from RX 560 to a 1050 Ti?
I think the 1050 Ti actually uses less wattage, 560, because AMD cards have always been high wattage until they started coming out with the RX 480s. It cut some of the wattage down.
Okay, well then it would be my advantage.
But then they re-upped the wattage when they and TDP when, but the AMD cards have always used a shit TDP. Look at the FX CPUs. You know, especially the 9590 was a 220 watt TDP CPU, you know. And most of the flipping AMD video cards have been like 200 to like what, 300 and something flipping watt TDP just for the GPU.
Well, I mean, if that's going to be a, you know, gain in power consumption, then
see, I know they re-upped the wattage and shit when they came out with the 500 series, because now they're using, you know, they up the clock and shit, you know, 10 to 13%, you know, so.
Right. Okay, so right now, looking at the stream.
Looks decent to me.
And that's the playback. Okay. That's 720p source. And that's now reflecting the new graphics settings? Is that correct?
Yeah, I think so.
Alright, so it's a little jagged. I mean,
yeah, it is, but it's not too bad. Like, it's streamable. Like, it looks fine to me.
I mean, if it's streamable, okay, and barring issues with bandwidth,
it looks perfectly fine to me. Like, you just jumped out of a plane, and it looks absolutely smooth.
All right.
But that's just me. Like, it looks smooth to me right now. Like, I see you flying, and there's people flying past you, and it looks absolutely smooth. Like, actually better than mine.
Really?
The issue I'm having, I'm getting black screen.
Well, okay, question. Are these playbacks?
And it was showing the mouse, but it wasn't showing the game until I flipped on like Alt-tabbed and Alt-tabbed again.
Okay, do you guys know if these playbacks are stored on my drive, or are they stored on their servers?
They're stored on their servers.
They're stored on their servers unless you
download them.
Okay, so they're stored on their servers.
Unless you set it to record on one of your hard drives.
Mine doesn't though.
Okay.
You could set it to do that.
Oh, because mine doesn't. Mine gets stored on their servers, and the only way for me to have it on mine.
You can set it in OBS.
No, I know, but the only
save a copy for you though.
Yeah, and the only way that I can get a copy is if I go to their site and download it, and that's what I like to do. But that's just me. See, you just picked up a helmet, and now everything's like there's pretty much no building for some reason. Oh, you're spectating somebody. It looks smooth to me. Like, he's just going through houses and everything. And
oh, she left. Oh, wait. She's still in there or not? I said hi to her. No, she left. She's not there anymore? In general? Oh, whatever. Anyway. Yeah, spectating. So, okay, so what I was getting at was...
wakey.
What I was getting at is that essentially, since it's on their servers, bandwidth, if I were having bandwidth problems right now, Wait a minute. No. Since it's on their servers, and this is a playback from their server, it would be, if there were any bandwidth problems right now, it would be on their end. So, yeah, forget that. Never mind. Okay. So, you can't really go by this right now, because it's like when I'm doing a vodcast and I'm using the bandwidth from Twitch rather than my upload bandwidth. So we need to get in game and test it that way. Because this...
Base, let's do it.
Yeah. This isn't going to... Definitely not going to...
Hold on, I'll start my stream then.
Test.
Oh, you know what? I have to piss really bad.
Yeah, I gotta take a piss myself. I'll be right back.
Good. Piss break.
Piss break.
There you go. I'm doing it. I should be getting like 1080p, 60 frames per second. But see, I'm having issues where the screen's black until I flip an Alt-Tab a few times because it's not showing up. It's only showing like the mouse and not the rest of the game. See, I'm moving around, but the flipping gameplay is like locked up now. It's definitely weird, like it's not streaming right. I know I'm getting dropped frames.
Back. Anybody here?
See, it keeps locking up.
So wildcard. The 1050 Ti, what's the port configuration? Do you know?
You mean the default specs?
Like for example, the RX 560 brings a HDMI, a DP, and a DVI. The importance for me is to have, well, right now, for example, the importance for me to have is a minimum DP, because DP is what I'm using, and because my stream monitor is DVI, I have to have DVI, or otherwise I'm going to start getting into adapters, and I really don't want to have to deal with that shit. So I guess the question is am I going to get the same port configuration if I give up the RX 560? Let's see. Okay, I see DP, HDMI, and DVI. Yeah, it's the same thing.
Depending on the model you get, and who you're getting it from.
Gigabyte. The Gigabyte, the 1050 Ti, 4 GB, is $159. And yeah, that would be the deal.
What?
Well, on GPU boss, like flipping RX 560 compared to 1050 Ti. Graphics, the 1050 Ti scoring a 6.3, the RX 560 scoring a 5.5.
Okay, so slightly better. But I mean, the question is which one is going to be less power consumption?
Performance per watt, the 1050 Ti is getting more per watt.
Really? Interesting.
Yeah.
Computing, 1050 Ti is getting more. Noise and power is about exactly the same between the RX 560 and 1050
Rampage,
Ti.
the one you got, is single fan or dual fan?
Single? I don't know.
Which brand did you get?
Zotac?
Oh, there's Zotac. Okay, I'm looking at the
Most of them are
Gigabyte.
single fan.
Gigabyte for 159.
It's dual.
Dual, because the one the RX 560 I have is dual. Now the good thing about
this
dual is
I think.
fans.
Yeah, it is. It's dual.
See, that's the thing. If you have dual fan, correct me if I'm wrong, but if one of your fans fail, at least the other fan will continue to keep cool.
Yes.
You know, if you have one fan goes,
It'll work faster though.
It'll work faster with 2 or 1.
Huh? With like if one fails, the other one will kick in an overdrive.
Really?
Yeah.
See, so that's the thing. I would definitely want to get one that has.
They're really close in performance, though. They really are.
Yeah, they are, but the TI will outbeat.
So get this: an Asus GeForce with 2 fans. Now you're
like
talking
the
a lot
like
more.
the 560's got like 16 more texture mapping units, you know. But
Here, I'll grab the box and I'll tell you exactly what I got.
The 1050 Ti's got twice as many render output processors, though.
Yeah, but see, if you're talking about Gigabyte versus Asus, Asus is more expensive. We got 159 for a
And
Gigabyte.
Asus is shit when it comes to fucking graphics cards, and they even started having problems with their motherboards.
Okay, so the one that I have is, it's a OC edition.
I mean,
it's a Zotac OC edition. GeForce GTX 1050 Ti, 4 gigabytes. Of
28-bit ZT-P15108.
GDDR5.
No, that's not it.
Firestorm, extended warranty, game-ready drivers, DirectX 12, and GameWorks.
Okay, would that be the ZT?
That's now. We're not worried about all that shit. We're like trying to get the actual flipping core count, pixel count.
Okay, so Strix Radeon.
Oh, well, here I can tell you.
Jeez. Check it out. A Strix Radeon 560 goes for $154.99, and that's what we're talking about for a single fan GTX 1050i. Now, a 1050 Ti overclockable edition, which is what I think you've got there, Rampage. Is it a ZT?
Which one?
Overclock. It's a Zotac GeForce 1050 Ti OC edition.
Yes.
And it's got 2 fans, and it's a ZT-P10510B. Okay, that's $239 right there.
Yes.
What a difference in price from the single fan.
If you really want it, I'll buy it.
But I mean, if you're talking about a significant difference in GTA alone, because I stream a lot of LSPDFR. I mean, if I can make that look super good, I definitely want that card over the card that I have. And if
it does. It makes it a lot better.
If you want to donate that card to stream, I would be thrilled.
Well, I wouldn't donate it. I would fucking send you money and say, here you go.
And past Mark, the 1050 Ti is getting 1,000 more points, 560.
Wait.
And Graphics Bench 3.0, they're scoring.
Now, I've heard that the 1050 Ti is your second choice to a 1080. Is that correct?
And past Mark Direct Compute is getting almost 1,000 more points on the 1050 Ti.
Well, isn't it like a compromise on a 1080, a 1050 Ti?
Oh no, that's a 1070 Ti.
Or a 1070 would actually be.
1070 Ti performs about the same as the 1080. Real close.
All right.
But for the $30 to $50 difference between the two cards, I'd get the flipping 1080 over the 1070 Ti. I tell you that much.
Yeah, but nobody's talking about that.
Because they're within $20 to $50 each other.
Yeah, but they're a hell of a lot more than the price mark for the 1050 Ti. So.
Well, I mean, if you had the money, I'd say I'd go for the fucking 1080 for 1070 Ti because the difference in performance between them two cards for only like 20 to
No, I hear you. It's just like
difference.
You also want to hear another thing?
What
is the GTX 1050 Ti? When you're playing a game, it auto overclocks.
They all do.
Yeah.
Wait, when you see
even
but a lot more better.
Well, the Radeons don't the Radeons do that?
AIM, everything does that nowadays. All CPUs, all GPUs.
But it'll do it a lot better.
But that's a BIOS thing, isn't it?
No. That's
I mean, for the CPU, isn't that a BIOS thing?
It's a BIOS and firmware thing for like the GPU itself and or the CPU itself. There's firmware and stuff on the GPU itself that automatically does it.
Okay, well, I'm gonna play some PUBG.
Unless you
Alright,
just
well,
say,
let's see how this goes.
unless you disable the turbo core
Because I need to start my
and
stream.
BIOS and manually overclock it. See what I'm saying? That makes sense?